welcome to another episode of The Decision Hour. I'm Adam, and with me is always Patty.
Adam.
What's happening?
Just getting ready to snuggle up on the couch and watch some retro cartoons.
Retro.
Retro.
What do you define? What's retro to you?
I don't know, except I guess shows that I watched when I was a kid, but I watched a lot of reruns from when like my older aunts and uncles and stuff were younger.
Okay.
So yeah, like maybe 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
60s, 70s. So 60s through the 90s or late 60s through the 90s. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today on today's show?
Oh, we're talking about retro shows, of course.
Retro shows. I'm digging this. Okay, so why don't you start? Let's start with the 70s or late 60s, early 70s. Let's start with the 70s and we kind of work our way into the 90s, and we'll just go through these quick, and then talk about maybe some of the shows that you just remember most about or whatnot in that era.
Okay, because I really don't remember shows in the 60s. I was not even born in the 60s.
Okay.
I don't even know how I was born in the 70s. I think that was an error on my birth certificate, just a clause here. But the shows that I watched when I was a kid, the cartoons that I watched, yeah, I'm skipping right over that, were like the Flintstones, the Smurfs, Strawberry Shortcake. And that's when I was really little, though. And at least in my head. Adam.
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
So did you watch Super Saturday cartoons when you were a kid?
I did, but I was like old school, like Tom and Jerry.
Oh, yeah. I like them, too.
What was, Scrooge McDuck, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just I was big on the Tom and Jerry stuff, like the
little
old school.
What was his name?
Mickey
Little
Mouse.
Bighorn?
Little what?
Not Little Bighorn. What was that?
Wait, that was a place where a war happened. Like, where are you? There was the Battle of Little Bighorn, which was.
What's that big rooster's name with the little guy, the little chicken and the big rooster?
Oh, I can't think of his name off the. I said, boy, you got.
Yeah, that one.
Watch that one too. I have no idea. Yosemite Sam.
Mm-hmm. Bugs Bunny
was another. Yeah, many of the Bugs Bunny stuff.
What was the little underlay guy who stole the cheese all the time?
Speedy Gonzales.
Yes.
Roadrunner and Coyote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of those. I remember those as a kid.
So when I was a kid, we had just gotten cable, but the cable, you still had to turn. You had to get up out of your seat and go to the TV, I think.
The knobs?
It seems like, because I remember switching the knobs on the TV.
Yep.
But I also do remember like a box on top of our TV. I don't know.
Did you have to like put tinfoil on? So we had an antenna. Like we were poor. We had antennas. And every now and then it was just like whatever came up on the local stations. So the local stuff was like Mickey Mouse. As far as like Saturday morning cartoon stuff, it was Mickey Mouse and some of those other ones that, Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry was big.
Super Friends?
No, never.
No?
No.
Oh my gosh. I remember watching that on Saturdays because the highlight of my week would be a Saturday morning. You could barely pry me out of bed during the week to go to school. But on a Saturday morning, I was up with my sugary bowl of cereal watching some outrageous cartoons. It was fun.
I remember He-Man.
Oh, yeah. I was always She-Ra. But then I was so disgusted when I found out that She-Ra and He-Man were brother and sister. I thought they were going to get married. What is up with that?
I don't know how we do these shows.
And then think about it. Okay, some of these
right.
cartoons were twisted. Like Papa Smurf. Oh, come on, Papa. There's one Smurfette. There's all these boy Smurfs.
What?
Everybody loves Smurfette.
What are you saying?
The retro shows are kind of crazy if you think about it.
You are totally ruining everyone's childhood that's listening to this right what they're going to start thinking about like, damn, that's messed up. Like,
hey, Papa.
What is happening? Okay. I'm going to switch it up from cartoons. I'm going to talk about some shows. 70 shows that I remember watching, like, even in the 80s, because it was like the reruns and stuff like that. But I got a list of shows that at least I watched, okay? And there was a lot of them. It made me really, and I really didn't watch that much TV, but they were on. I remember these shows. Bewitched.
Oh yeah.
Bonanza.
I didn't watch that one. I didn't like Cowboys.
The Brady Bunch. One of my favorite ones. The Chips. You remember that show?
Yeah, I do. I would fall asleep for that one though. I don't know why.
I don't know why I love that one. Dallas, which is still going strong today. It's new cast and everything like that. I've actually been to their film set in Dallas, Texas. It's actually pretty neat. Different Strokes, the Dukes of Hazzard, who I've met Bo Duke, great guy. John, yeah. The Facts of Life, Good Times, Happy Days, The Jeffersons, Laverne and Shirley, The Love Boat, MASH, Mork and Mindy, The Muppet Show, Stanford and Son, Taxi, and WKRP in Cincinnati.
Wow.
I can't remember. I remember that. I can't.
What was that lady's name? She was a blonde.
I have no
I remember
clue.
when I was little, I was like, she is so pretty. Lonnie Anderson.
I'm horrible with names. So
I'm going to have to look her up. You know, when you're like, for me, when I was growing up, I would think that certain people were attractive. And then now I go back and look and I'm like, what? Oh boy. What about when I was a teenager, 90210, Beverly Hills 90210. That was popular. I didn't watch it a lot though. And then, so here's
was that a 90s or an 80s show?
I don't know. I think it was the 90s.
It was a 90s show.
I don't even know anymore. Luke Perry looked classic though, like he could have been in the 50s also.
He kind of had like that greaser vibe look to him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's.
Think about some of my favorite shows. Some of those guys carried that look.
So like those shows that I just read, those were like 70s shows. Chips was, and that went into the 80s, and the Dukes of Hazzard went into the 80s. Those are my probably the two favorite shows out of the 70s era. In the 80s, do you remember A-Team? Mr.
Of
T?
course.
Yeah, that was that one. Elf. Here's a list of some other ones. Bosom Buddies, Charlie's Angels. Cheers was huge, like in our house. Everybody watched Cheers. The Cosby Show was another one. Doogie Howser, Family Matters, Family Ties, Full House, Golden Girls. I
still love that show.
I love it. Betty White and all of those ladies were funny women. MacGyver was another one that I love to watch. Married with Children, Miami Vice, because I always wanted to be Don Johnson. Quantum Leaf, Saved by the Bell, Silver Spoons was another one. That's the one with Ricky Schroeder, right?
Yeah, I had a little crush on him when I was a kid.
I don't think I've ever met a girl that grew up in the 80s that didn't have a crush on Ricky Schroeder.
I know.
Webster, The Wonder Years was another show that was constantly watched in our household. Airwolf and Knight Rider.
Knight Rider was dope.
Yep.
I wanted that car.
David
Kit.
Hasselhoff. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I didn't so much like him. I liked the car though.
That car was awesome.
And the Dukes of Hazzard just brings back so many good memories for me. I had a little mini bike. I started riding a mini bike and like a little motorcycle when I was in kindergarten.
Really?
Yeah. And I would go up to the park down the road and like ride on the dirt track and pretend like I was getting chased by all like the Dukes of Hazzard kids like in the neighborhood or whatever.
So the Dukes of Hazzard, Bo Duke came down to Mesa, Arizona, and had the General Lee, or one of the replicas of the General Lee, down there. So I got to meet him and chat with him and stuff like that. And his handler, they call him handlers or whatnot. He doesn't fly; they drive everywhere across the country. Is a retired Air Force veteran that does stuff.
Wow,
yeah, it was actually pretty cool. Great guy. I mean,
that is cool.
It was so nice just chatting with him. Then I've talked to him offline a couple of times, here and there, but it's just an all around really, really nice fellow.
That is cool.
90 shows: The Kings of Queens, Home Improvement, My Two Dads, Night Court, Johnny Carson, because somebody brought that up. And I think that was more of the 80s. I think he went off air in like 92, 93. Roseanne, Seinfeld, I think was a big one.
Yeah, I liked Seinfeld. But, I didn't even like Seinfeld, though, until like the last decade.
Yeah, and one of the shows that I still actually watch, like a lot of the reruns, is That 70s Show. Mm-hmm. I like all of those. And there's my dog.
That I thought was Scooby-Doo, because Scooby-Doo is one of my favorite.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo's a fun one.
So, yeah. Speaking of Scooby-Doo, Ken's cousin, Casey Kasem. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah. So
from like the top 40?
Yeah.
The weekly top 40?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So Scooby-Doo is huge, and his family too. Definitely.
Wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat.
Cool.
So out of the shows, like what are some other shows? I'm looking back, like A-Team, and like you said, Knight Rider, Miami Vice. I didn't get to watch Miami Vice a lot because I guess that was kind of more of a risque.
Yeah.
I guess kind of thing.
So much kissing.
Like now, I'm just like, dude, like I wouldn't do like I would do the suits, but I wouldn't do like the bright shirts underneath the suit, and I wouldn't do like the penny loafers or the little slip-on shoes they had. But,
oh my gosh!
Like the one time I went down to Miami, it was like I was hoping, because I got a pair of like the hemp pants, and I was just like, dude, I'm Don Johnson this trip, and like I'm like first time in Miami, I'm going all out. And I got so much grief. Like nobody wears a suit in Miami, and I was like, "You go to South Beach? Yeah, crazy."
Yeah, all of our friends now, it's super cool. They all dress up. So when we go out to eat and stuff, everybody's dressed up, like Florida style, but not to that extreme. No penny loafers for the guys, really. But
like me, nice pressed jeans, a button-down shirt, and my boots. Although now I got a new pair of shoes that I'm infatuated with. Like I wear them all the time. Those woobies.
I heard about those.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I liked the. My favorite shows were the Brady Bunch, the old Laverne and Shirley throwbacks or reruns. Those were so good. I always wanted to. Okay, so my favorite character was Laverne, but she wasn't the prettiest one. So I always wanted a shirt that had a P, like the Laverne shirt has the L. But I always wanted to be Shirley because she was prettier. So there was that. And I don't know. My favorite retro shows, though, were for sure the cartoons. Like those were my very favorite. In fact, I still like kids shows. It's relaxing to me to watch a kid show and like funny.
All right, so I got to ask. We've gone straight TV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, movies.
What about movies?
So here's a secret. When I was in around kindergarten to third grade, my parents had this huge Bible thumping moments of their life and didn't allow me to go to the movie theater. But my class at school was going to see E.T., and I was so sad I could not go see E.T. at the movie theater. But they ended up going past that pretty fast, so I was able to go to the theater when I was a little bit older. But I did want to see E.T. in the theater, and I never did. But I did see things like Star Wars and
good one.
Yeah, Star Wars was amazing. It's still going. What's your favorite theater show?
One I remember the most, Goonies.
Oh, yeah. That was a pretty good one.
Or here's one, Stand By Me.
I did not see that one. It looked mushy.
Are you serious? Oh, God. That was like one of the first movies I saw growing up was Stand By Me. And then, of course, Jaws was big at the time. Mm-hmm. And then Top Gun. Top Gun and Iron Eagle, because I wanted to like fly growing up. I wanted to be a pilot growing up.
Oh, my word.
Those were my like go-to movies. You're just like, yeah, because that was like the cool thing. Ghostbusters was another one. Oh God, I'm trying to think of.
What about
What's that?
I snuck to see Dirty Dancing.
That to me that was a mushy show. And I was just like, ew, I don't want to watch this. This is a chick flick, I was like, whatever. I think it was a good movie. God, I'm trying to think of like some other ones. Like I said Ghostbusters. Back to the Future.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox. I mean, that's another one. Michael J. Fox was huge back in those days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about the Terminator shows? What else? Gremlins.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ghostbusters,
yeah. 1 and 2.
I think they had more than that too.
I didn't get into like really any of the old. Like my grandfather used to watch like the really old westerns that would come on TV. But like movie wise, and like growing up, I didn't go to a lot of movies at the theater because we just couldn't afford it. And we had an old school theater, in my hometown, like really old school.
There's still a drive-in theater in Flint, Michigan, and I noticed that there's a drive-in theater not that far from our house here, like within an hour driving distance. But
I'm wondering if those are coming back because there was a couple in Arizona. One got taken down, but there's still one that they still use in Arizona, and I haven't really seen them up out in the east, out this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were nice because they were usually like a double feature. So you could watch 2 movies for the price of 1. Some of the 90s shows that I liked, I think Home Alone was in the 90s. I loved that show. And actually, 90s were probably some of my favorite. Actually, they were. 90s my favorite time. My favorite decade, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Jurassic Park. Home Alone. What else? Yeah. 90s definitely my favorite.
I can't think of any... I can't think. Oh, the Karate Kid.
Yes, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Let's see. There was Karate Kid. There was. I'm trying to think of some other, like potential 80 ones. Mm-hmm. Mad Max. Wasn't that the one with Tina Turner?
I don't remember.
I think that was the one with Tina Turner. Or Popeye was another one. Let me see here. There was. I'm trying to think. And if you're listening to this right now, think of like what your favorite movies were growing up. Retro movies the Three Amigos. That's the one I was thinking of. Those because for some reason that was like one of those. That was with. Let's see here. It was Chevy Chase, a real short guy. Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Right? And they were the three of me.
I still like Nacho Libre, but that's a newer movie. It's like one of my favorite ones. It's so stupid. It's funny.
Uncle Buck. Mm-hmm. I forgot about all the John Goodman or John Goodman. Excuse me, John Candy one. Scrooge that always came out around Halloween time. Or is it Predator with Arnold? Oh
yeah. What was that? Was that the one where the alien came out of that person's stomach?
No, that was Alien.
Alien.
Yeah. Hence, we're okay. Yeah. What was that movie with Kevin Bacon?
I don't know. There's one I know.
The movie called Footloose.
Oh yeah. I didn't watch that one.
What?
Yeah, I know. It didn't look appealing to me. I don't know why. I never watched it.
And probably one of the funniest movies to date of all time, in Adam's opinion, was Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh.
With Robin Williams.
I didn't see that one either.
And that's all the time we have today, folks.
I know.
Patty, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is get on Netflix or Amazon. You have to watch Good Morning Vietnam this week.
Yeah, I know.
It's a funny. It's funny.
Funny?
Full Metal Jacket. Oh yeah. There's some like sad parts to it, but like it's Robin.
I hate sad movies.
It's Robin Williams.
But I hate sad movies. I did like Jurassic Park. Yeah, he was in Jurassic Park. Robin Williams. Yeah.
No.
And Flubber. I like those shows.
Flubber. Wait, hold on. Back.
Mork and Mindy.
Back up. Mork and Mindy. Yeah. But did you say that Robin Williams in the Jurassic Park?
Yeah. Wasn't he the caveman guy? Or no, not Jurassic Park. Oh my gosh, Jumanji. Oh, stop. Okay, moving on. What was that show? The show about the guy who would always go on the treasure hunts, the archaeologist.
The archaeologist.
Come on. Yeah,
was it a TV show or a movie?
A movie, a whole movie series, like a whole bunch.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to be an archeologist when I was a kid.
So funny story, true story. I actually took an entire year of archaeology in college.
No way.
I did. Yep. I sure did.
That's cool. Yeah. I want to go on an expedition trip someday. I still do want to do that. I've actually tinkered around and looked it up recently again.
Yeah, as I'm sitting here looking at, like, I finally found some movies in the 80s. I think Indiana Jones, we brought that up. Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, it was a funny one. All the Lethal Weapons, all of the Rockies, all of the Rambos.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, you have the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Caddyshack. I mean, those were all. That was probably my favorite era was for movies with the 80s, because there was a lot of funny movies. And then like the old, what was the old Grumpier Old Men, like Walter Matthau and anything with Don Rickles, which is like really old school. And that's just because that era they were very politically incorrect and people weren't offended as easily as we are today.
That's true. Now, one thing I do remember is when I was super little, we would go to church on Sundays. And so Sunday afternoon, I'd go home, I'd run upstairs, like, so we had a 2-story house. I'd run upstairs into our TV room and I'd turn on the Sunday matinee shows. And for like several weeks in a row, they had the movies, The Howling, with the werewolf shows. Do you remember those? I thought they were so scary. So I'd turn out the lights and I'd like watch The Howling. So scary. And now I look back at those shows and I'm like, wow, we really thought they had great graphics back then, didn't we?
Yeah. Crazy, graphics. Right?
Yeah.
Like, well, that's a piece of paper. Oh my God. Patty, we're up on time.
All right.
We're past it already. How do we keep doing this stuff? We get on these little rants and stuff. Walk down memory lane. So, folks, we're talking about retro TV and movies. If you couldn't tell already, we appreciate you listening. We go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Decision Hour, and leave a comment on what your favorite TV show. And when we say retro, we're thinking like 70s, 80s, 90s. And what was your favorite movie in those eras there, in those decades? What were your favorite ones? So, Patty, any parting words for our listeners today?
Yeah, even though we are talking about retro movies and TV, you can always go back and throw back to the Decision Hour and listen to some of our old episodes if you missed them.
Absolutely.
So have fun with that.
And we got some great. We've been blessed to have some really cool interviews and whatnot. And the Decision Hour, we've obviously, usually the show was based on like making a decision or whatnot. And Patty and I have made the decision that we're going to spread the shows out a little bit differently and add more flavor to it. But we will be doing some more interviews and stuff coming up. But we also want to do these fun shows like this, quite frankly, because we're the hosts. It's our show, and we can do whatever the hell we want. So
we decide to do what we want to do.
We've made the decision to decide to do whatever it is that we want to do. So there you have it, folks. That's all the time we have. Make sure you check out Heroes Media Group. Simply go to www.heroesmediagroup.com to become part of the family. Shoot them an email at info@heroesmediagroup.com. Let them know what it is that you're looking for. For Patti, I'm Adam. You've been listening to The Decision Hour.